Hi, we have the opportunity today to talk with Ford Gilbert, the founder of Trina Health and the developer of the artificial pancreas system. Ford, you've spent a lot of your life working on this technology, and I wanted to ask you a couple of questions today. The first question would be, what led you to developing this technology? When did this happen, and how did it evolve in your life?
It's one of those funny coincidences of life that when you have a problem and nobody else is doing anything about it, you try to do something yourself. And so in 1984, my daughter was extremely ill. She was a type 1 diabetic at age 2. And she was one of these unfortunate children who are very brittle. And so she would have these horrible excursions. We'd have hospitalizations and all the likes. And so at some point I said, okay, let me look into this a little more. And undeservedly, I became the Volunteer of the Year for the American Diabetes Association in Northern California. And at that time, I was working on a new pump. And I said, well, this can't be too bad. I'd had some experiences in pumps before that. I said, I'll make a pump that takes all of the variables associated with what balances insulin, like glucose and sleep and exercise and all of the variables, and I'll write an algorithm and put it in a pump so at least we can stop these doggone swings. Because my daughter was going to the hospital. We had to live with her between us so we could feel her when she went into seizures. I mean, it was really a bad existence for her. And in all of the work that I was doing, I amassed a few doctors to help me. I met this one doctor. He says, well, I don't know why you're doing that. And I thought, well, what's wrong with this guy? He says, what you really ought to do is address the core problem of diabetes, which is not blood sugar or blood sugar swings. The core problem is metabolizing that sugar. And so he started me off with this idea of taking insulin and bringing it up and up and up in this wave form, where we had an ever-increasing baseline of insulin. And I thought, well, I don't know anything about that. Let's try it. But as luck would have it, or maybe providence, or maybe a good prayer life, I don't know what it was like, what happened was instead of making it to go like this, as I thought I was actually making it to go like this, which I thought I wasn't. And so by complete accident and total mistake on my part, I built the system that would do what I ended up doing. And it turns out that the way he originally wanted it does not work and indeed would be harmful to the patient. But the way that I made it works. And I'm telling you, it was a real surprise. It was not something that we thought out in ahead and we knew exactly where we were going. We had all these magnificent hypotheses, et cetera, like that. It was just a little old guy in Sacramento trying hard to make something work, and by accident, or as I say, by some inspiration that's definitely not from me, we got it the right way. So now my daughter is now 30 years old. I just learned the other day when I was talking to somebody else on another program that her kidney, her creatinine is 0.59, where anything below 1.0 is nominal. And of course, for a type 1 diabetic of that duration, you'd expect to see some kidney degradation. Also, she has perfect eyes, she has perfect brain, she has 4 normal-sized children, she got pregnant on her honeymoon. Hormones, which of course insulin is just one, but most the powerful one perhaps, hormone-wise she's absolutely normal. And so she has none of the vestiges of diabetes. Her eyes are perfect. And I guess you'd say that that's why I did it. And now, in a way, I feel a little bit sad that I haven't been able to get it out there better or to get more people treated. But that's a problem, basically, of financing. And so we're hoping to get by that next hurdle.
Well, it's wonderful to see the joy you have of being able to do something to really help your daughter. And here we are, 30 years of being on treatment, huh?
Yeah,
so
28 years.
28 years she's been on this treatment, yeah. Well, that's fantastic. Thanks for sharing this story
Oh,
with
no,
us.
I'm sorry. No, I messed up. She'll get me for that one. She's been only on the treatment for 22 to 3 years because it took us about that long before I got to the point where we could treat her.
And was that the same pump that you're pretty much using today?
Yes, the first work that was done was on this piece of equipment which was about the size of a refrigerator, made by a friend of mine by the name of Anton Clemens with Miles Laboratory. And I have to give Tom Clemens his due. He's a great guy, a loving man, and he saw that we were onto something early. And then, of course, we miniaturized it and made it ambulatory so that people can eventually do it at home, which is what my daughter does today. She hasn't been doing this in a clinic for many years now.
Well, thanks for sharing your personal story with us today.